Hello beautiful people, it's Bridget. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is going to be something I did a long time ago and I want to refresh. So today's video is going to be 5 eyeshadow palettes plus an honorable mention that are versatile. So things that are oftentimes considered a colorful palette and a lot of people who are into neutral makeup don't really lean towards, or things that are considered kind of like a mix palette where if you are into bold makeup you can still get a neutral look out of it, vice versa. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright guys, before we get started, I'll make one of this channel's cruelty free, and so is every product I mentioned in this video. The reason I really want to do this is because I think a lot of people take one look at a palette or see someone say something about a palette and that's their only mindset about it. I think a lot of times shades in a palette you dismiss as being unwearable or too neutral can oftentimes be overlooked and make you think less about a palette, which you can actually get a lot of use out of. So today I'm going to try to switch your interpretation of a palette if you think one way about it. So let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is one that recently came out and I recently reviewed, and this is the Gingerbread Spice palette by Too Faced. I'm going to talk about this thing while I can, while it's still available. This palette is oftentimes just a neutral palette, but you can also get something really bold out of it. Like that last look I did, the 3 looks 1 palette with a halo eye and the bright neon pink. So cute. Or you might really look for it, you're like, these are boring except for the pink. Well, you also have like this really cool gold if you want to do like a deeper look. We have purples, we have this dark green color, and we also have light shades if you want to make a really simple look out of it. A lot of the browns in here are a different kind of brown than normal. They're more of like a spicy brown to them. They're not just a neutral or a warm brown like this shade right here, and also this shade right here. It's a very different type of spicy brown, and some of these colors in here you can get a lot of different looks out of, not just a neutral, not just a pink, not just a gold. You can get tons of different looks out of this. You can get a purple look or a green look or a really light pink look. You can get an orange look. I just think this is a very versatile palette that's oftentimes dismissed as a neutral palette with a pop of pink. So I definitely think this is one of those palettes you can get a ton of use out of, and just because it's Christmas themed doesn't mean you have to only use it during Christmas time. So great palette, love it very much. This is the only shade I have a problem with. And other than that though, this is a very versatile palette that needs to be talked about more and not just, ooh, it's a holiday palette. It's a very good palette on its own without being themed. So the next palette we're going to talk about is a limited edition palette that's oftentimes just another Jeffree Star palette. This is the Thirsty palette. I think a lot of people dismiss this as a glitter and bright colored palette, and it's definitely not. So this is a palette I need to get more use out of. Honestly, I kind of reviewed it, used it in like that month and then stopped using it, but I need to use more out of it. So you get a lot of colorful shades in here like these colors, but I feel like a lot of people dismiss this as a colorful palette because we have 3 bright colors. However, a lot of these colors, like this looks like a bright color, but if you go really light into the brush, it can be such a nice peach color. If you go light-handed in any of these colors, it makes a whole different look out of it. So I definitely think like the neutral brown and the dark brown and the oranges and this light tan color and even these neutrals, glitter shades, they're so easy to work with. And if you want a bright colorful look, you can use more than just these 3. You can really build this color up. You can go for the bright silver, or you can build the yellow in this color to make a golden look. Like, it works. Everything really flows together. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of these glitters just because I'm not a glittery person, but you can get so many things out of here because honestly if you cover up these 3 shades, it looks like a neutral palette with like a pop of pink. But if you cover up but if you cover up this whole side, it looks like a colorful palette. So either way, whole bunch of different versatile looks you can get out of this. Honestly, my favorite thing to do with this palette is a bright green look right here or dipping into this yellow, but this is one of my favorite neutral browns, honestly. And if I'm cleaning up under a contour, this is actually a really great color for underneath there, just like to brighten up underneath my contour line. It's a really cute color. So very versatile, and if you're into glitter shades, these are absolutely so metallic and so beautiful. The next palette we're going to talk about is one that I specifically got for the 2 bright colors in this palette, but the rest of the shades are fantastic quality once I start forcing myself to use them. This is the Douce palette by Juvia's Place. Now I just want to keep talking about how much I love Juvia's Place because they're really, really good quality shadows, but I specifically got this palette for these 2 shades. I'm also kind of a fan of this light pink, but I got it for these 2 shades because they're bright pink, bright green, and they're fantastic. But if you cover up these 2 shades, that's pretty neutral. Like, you have this green, yes, but look at it. You have a muted brown right here, a very muted out. It's actually a very unique shade of brown. It's kind of like a cool tone mustard brown color. It's very unique, very strange. But if you cover up these, it looks really neutral. You have a light pink shimmer. It goes right with the peach. You can do the peach with this. You can do this and this. Everything works well together. This is the only shade in the palette that seems a little bit out of place, I would say, but it goes really well with the peach and the dark brown. So if you think about, I want to do a neutral look with this palette, you can use this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, pretty much all of them for a neutral look other than these two shades. If you want to do a colorful look, any of these colors, you can make it really dark look with this one, make it really dramatic. You can do a bright look with the bright pinks and blues. I'm just saying this palette is very versatile, and at first I just saw it as a bright palette with some shades I wouldn't use. But the shades that I wouldn't use typically, like the more boring shades, are fantastic quality. And this palette has very minimal fallout, so I quite enjoy this one. And whereas I do use it mostly for the bright dramatic stuff, I can also get a lot of different looks out of it. So I think if I go traveling, this is one I definitely consider taking with me. So let's talk about my little honorable mention. This is not one of the 5 I picked out for the video, but it is one that I think is perfect for if you're going somewhere. And I guess specifically for people like me who do wear both neutral and funny colored looks, this is the Mar palette by ColourPop. They also have the Soul palette, which goes along with this, but today we're talking about Mar specifically because I guess it's the same thing as Kylie's Blue Honey palette. Look at this palette. You see this and you're like, oh, there's some weird colors in there, Bridget. There's some greens, there's some blues. It's very strange. But it's mostly a neutral palette. Like, you can use this color and this one to make a more dramatic, deep look for the nighttime if you want to. But this one, this one, this one, this one, they're all very neutral brown colors. You can also do a bright green look. My favorite thing to do with this palette specifically is go for like a orange top lid and then run this bright green under the lower lash line. Like, it's so fun. I quite enjoy it. And I think it's a great versatile palette. Perfect size for traveling. You get a good quality for 12 bucks. I think this palette does a lot of different things. So the next one is one that I was like, should I mention it? Or people get mad if I mention it? And I was like, it's basically the essential thing we're talking about in this video, which is versatile palettes. So this is the Life's a Drag palette by Lunar Beauty. The palette's quality is fantastic. I don't care about any drama, whatever. It's literally versatile because it's split in half. Like, half of it's colorful, half of it's neutral. You get whatever you want out of this palette, and the quality is so good. I mean, this one shade right here is absolute garbage. Other than that, though, this is such a good palette. It's such a good palette. Like, honestly, you love neutrals, here you go. You love brights, here you go. If you want to mix them, that's awesome. If you were into neutral makeup, you want to do a pop of color, add one of these colors at the lower lash line, and you have your look. If you want to go very bold, they even have a black you can deepen up any colorful look. So if you want something more drama filled, you can do it. If you want something more neutral and soft, you can do it. Anything you want to do in this palette to deepen up, you have a dark shade. If you want to lighten it up, you can use the white shade. I just feel like it's a very versatile palette. Honestly, the most versatile palette as far as like you can see the difference, you know? Like, it might not have the most dramatically different shades in it, but whatever you want, you got it. So this last palette is one that I was debating whether or not it's versatile enough to put in this video, but since a lot of you guys in the last video liked that I included the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, I decided I'm going to include the colored Raine Cheers to the Beauty palette. It's an enormous palette, too big, honestly. Like, the Life's a Drag palette is enormous in itself, and this one's still bigger than it. It's an enormously long palette. It's dramatically long. That's my issue with it, but you can get a ton of different looks out of here, and the quality is fantastic. Now, you see it, you're like, oh, that's bold. Don't look at the blue reflective packaging around it. So if you look at the colors itself, the only really bold things you have in here is the bright gold, the green, and the blue. So you can get a colorful look out of this. I'm sorry it's so reflective to show you, but look at this. You have neutral, 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 neutral. Reds can be downplayed as a neutral or darkened up to make something deep and exciting. Any of the shimmers you want to put on the lid, this isn't that crazy, this isn't that crazy. Neither is this one. You can also do something kind of dark. You also have this really big highlighter shade, so you can use it all over your face if you want to. It's honestly great. Like, the quality is fantastic. I absolutely adore everything about Colored Raine's quality of shadows. They're one of my favorites, but these colors are the epitome of a warm eyeshadow palette. These colors right here are oftentimes found in cool tone palettes. So you can use either way you want to go with this, but I love this gold. These shimmers are ridiculous. They're out of this world. They're so metallic. Honestly, the most beautiful shimmers you've ever seen in your life. They're the most metallic, beautiful things ever. So I definitely suggest this palette, especially if you are into more metallic shades. I wish there were a couple more mattes in here, but overall the quality of this palette is out of this world. So I definitely recommend this one for either kind of look you're going to do, neutral or bold. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know a palette down below that you find very versatile, like you can get either kind of look you wanted out of it. A daytime, bright, colorful look, a neutral look, a dark, deep, sultry night look. Let me know, and I will love to hear from you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye! Today's video is going to be a review. What? Not